Hi, good afternoon. It's Lindsay. It's December 1st, 2024. And so I'm gonna do a video, talk about some stuff. All right. So I started. I have talked about before my experiences at the gym. I talk a lot about my stalking and my harassment stuff that I've endured at the gym over the years in San Antonio. Well, elsewhere also, but here in San Antonio, especially at the Gold's Gym. Um, whenever a person is enduring so much gang stalking and mobbing, smear campaign, harassment stuff, eventually you just can't. You psychologically have either a breakdown. Um, you just can't deal with it. It's physiologically too much for a person to go through that. It has so many effects on your health and everything else, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional well-being, that you just can't. You realize there's got to be a time and a place to stop, or a time to stop doing that to yourself, or allowing it to happen. But then when you don't have much control, obviously, over what other people are doing to you to try to drive you out of a place or make you feel uncomfortable or whatever, it's like, you're left with very few options other than to either completely stop going to that place altogether, or you know what I mean? And that's the idea of the fucking gang stalking stuff, is to get you to stop going somewhere, to get you to quit doing what you like to do, so that you comply with their program, their agenda. And that's part of this gang stalking. It's all about compliance. They want you to comply to what they want you to do, and it's very abusive. This is what gang stalking is. It's government sponsored vigilante harassment, targeting people who are dissidents, people who are going through a legal situation, people who are whistleblowers, people who medical reasons, just different. There's all kinds of different reasons why a person can be targeted. Financial, especially, just different things. Okay, there's an array of reasons why a person can be targeted. You make somebody mad. You had an inheritance dispute, or you went through a bad divorce, and there's a legal something in the courts. You know what I mean? It goes on and on and on. The list is never ending. But some people, such as myself, it's like generational abuse. I was born into this kind of stuff. It's been going on my entire life, more or less, to an extent. But anyway, back to this whole stuff with this gang stalking shit at the gym. I notice it. Like I said, I go to different locations. Whenever it gets so bad, and I've just had enough of the people in a certain place, or enough, whatever, and I just stop going. I just leave. I just quit or whatever. And that's it. I don't say anything. I just quit going and quit talking to people, and that's it. I don't have to justify for why I do what I do. I just do it because I don't, you know what I mean? I have the freedom to make my own choices and decisions, and I don't need anybody to tell me how to make decisions. But I have people who clearly get mad if I don't do what they want me to do, because they think that they have me under their control. With this whole fucking gang stalking, it's like, they want to be in control of you. They want you to have like a handler at all times. You basically, it's like, excuse me, number one, I don't work for the fucking government. I'm not in the military, and I don't need a fucking handler. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do, and I can take care of myself. My problems, I know how to take care of myself quite well, and they know that, but they feel that, like, if you're a woman, you need to have somebody who's going to handle you, and who's going to either financially abuse you a lot of times, or sexually abuse you, or take advantage of you. And that's what this program is about, because it mostly targets women who are single and whatever, because it's frowned down upon in society if you are a woman who is by yourself and single, especially childless like me. It's like, that it's just something that people that what well, what's wrong with you? How come you're not married? Why don't you have kids? They'll start asking these kinds of questions if you get to know somebody. Then they'll start basically interrogating you and asking you all kinds of personal questions and it gets very intrusive and rude, and that's what kept happening to me over the years at various gyms. I'd be too friendly to people and talkative with people asking me an array of personal questions of which I would answer, and then one thing leads to another. And then they find all this stuff out about you and they use it against you whenever something goes wrong, like in a smear campaign or whatever. They'll start using that against you and making fun of you and mocking you and getting people to stalk you. And this is what these people do in communities around San Antonio. And what is the definition of a community? What is a community? A community is basically, it comes from the word communism. Okay, it's a community. It's a group. It's a group of which it's a collectivized social group. That's what a community is. It's a group of like-minded individuals, but you might be in a community setting, whatever, in a community, but that doesn't mean that you have to be one of them. You might be you're a separate entity. You might be somebody who's completely not with the community. And so when you're not doing the same thing as other people do, following their regimen or their dogma, whatever, then they get angry, they get frustrated with you, and they take it personally. And then you'll notice that a lot of these people all of a sudden seem to want to have like a personal vendetta with you because you're not part, quote unquote, of their community, because you don't talk with them, because you are a loner, you're a black sheep, you're the black goat or whatever, you're the one who's kind of doing your own thing. And they get offended by that. People get very offended if you're not part of their group. And I have noticed this for years and years, observing the behavior of people in these communities at the gym, because it is a community of, and that's what they do. They get around together, they gossip, they talk amongst each other, they talk about other people, they laugh at people, they form little cliques. And it's very common at gyms especially, whereas in that setting it can be very much a lot of bullies who act like they're still in high school, and they act like high school students or middle school students who want to bully the weirdo or make fun of somebody. They've got to find their person to target, right? And so it sounds crazy that adults would be doing that, but that's what a lot of adults do when you're at a gym setting for whatever reason, because it's like these people, a lot of them never grew out of their childhood phase or their teenage years, and so now that they're adults and they're maybe retired or they don't have a lot going on in their life, they decide that they want to find somebody at the gym to fucking harass and stalk and try to drive out of there and drive crazy because they don't like you for whatever reason, okay? And that's always been me, most of the time, the fucking one that they target to try to drive out of the fucking gym. Because so-and-so, it's usually some woman who doesn't like me or somebody who gets offended because I don't talk to them enough or I ignore them or I don't, and so they get offended and take it personally. And then the next thing you know, I'm getting stalked. They're talking about me at the front desk or somebody reports me to the management. And this is all corporate-sponsored harassment and mobbing. And that's what they're doing. This is illegal. It's a form of systematic abuse. It's a form of discrimination and harassment. You shouldn't look. I see plenty of people at gyms that I don't like or that I don't want to have anything to do with, or that I'm not. It's like I just I can tell from watching them or whatever that I don't want to get involved with them. That I just better keep my distance, and that's all. I just don't. In that case, when I see that, if there's somebody who I just get a bad kind of vibe from or something, then I just simply avoid them. I don't go out of my way to make fun of or to try to get their attention by any means. I just avoid them. And it's really that simple. If you don't like somebody, then it's really easy. Then you just avoid them. You don't try to provoke them. You don't stalk them. You just just avoid them or just ignore them. Common sense. There's plenty of people who we don't like. You're not going to get along with everybody that you see. Obviously, that's common sense. But you don't have to go out of your way to target somebody who you don't like because that person is different. That's mean. That's, grow up. It's mean to do that. It's mean to make fun of people for their disability, for the way they walk, the way they look. Or whatever. Because I get it all the time myself. Women don't like the way I look, or somebody doesn't like the way I look, or the way I walk, or the way I dress, or whatever. Whatever. Get over it. Big fucking deal. There's plenty of people that I feel the same way, but I simply just avoid them. I just act like they're not there. And it's that easy. But they'll do, what these people do is they're so needy of attention in your reaction when they're gang stalking you or whatever, that they'll do stupid shit right in front of you to try to get you to react. And they almost like force you to react to some of the mundane, ridiculous shit that they do, just to get you to react. And it's a form of abuse. It's a form of gang stalking and mobbing. And they do this shit to me all the time in a gym, especially if I start going to a different location. Then they start doing all this subtle shit to try to see if I'm paying attention or to see if I'm going to react or how I'm going to react. And I just ignore it. I just basically, now, with all my experience, I don't react. And it's not easy to do that because you get so frustrated sometimes that you want to say something and you want to mumble something under your breath, or you want to say something when you go to the bathroom, like, oh my God, you start talking out loud. And I have to really bite my tongue to not say anything. I have to really, really force myself to not react to this shit that they do to me. It's not easy to do. It's not easy, but I have to do that. And it's not easy because they will provoke, push you into reacting. And it's just some of the most ridiculous, uncomfortable crap that you can believe that they'll do to try to get you to react. And it's all about when you're targeting people. The government is doing it. Corporate government, it's corporate gang stalking, vigilante stalking. Whatever, this is what they do, that they want the target to react in a way, and I have talked about this ad nauseum in my videos. I talk about this so much, but let me reiterate. What they're doing is they're trying to get the target, to react in a way that makes the target look mentally ill, that makes the target look, deranged, to make you look like you're unstable, so that they can have either an excuse to call the authorities to get you kicked out of a place, or they'll things like this to get you. They want you to feel very uncomfortable so that you don't go back, or so that they want you to know that they don't want you there. Okay, and it is very fucking abusive because they know good and well what the fuck they're doing. And they do this to people who they don't like. They do it to people who are different. They do it to people who are older. It's ageism. It's discrimination. It's racist crap that they do. I see it all the time. They target people, but mostly people who are just different, and people like me who are just too, just weird or whatever. And I'm not saying everybody's out to get me, and that no. But I do see clearly some people who are doing that. It's obvious. When you're a targeted person, you can feel and you can sense it. And when you're very cognizant of your surroundings and whatnot, and you're very perceptive and intuitive, and you feel the people who are sending out that negative energy. You can feel it permeate everywhere. Okay, it's very intense energy that they're spewing out, directed towards you or whoever they're targeting. And it's just like, because I see so much, and I pay close attention to people, and the way their body language, the way they do things, and the way that I see all that stuff, and I pick up on their energies. And I can it's just very weird. And so I've noticed that this gym that I'm going to now, no need to say where it is. I'm not going to start telling people these exact locations anymore, because it just leads to more problems. But nonetheless, it's a Gold's Gym. I'll say that much. And it happens to be a lot to me it's a lot less driving than the other place that I was going to, which was way the fuck out there in a different city, pretty much, different fucking altogether. I mean, like really far. I was driving way too goddamn much. It wasn't worth it, and it was making me I didn't like it. I felt very uncomfortable in that environment. It was not conducive for my well-being. It got to the point where I just was not feeling good there at all, and I was getting way too much singled out and too much stuff going on, and I was like, no. After all the legal stuff that I've been through, all the smear campaign crap, I deserve better, and I deserve to treat myself well, and I'm not gonna put myself through that kind of fucking torture and torment just to go to a gym. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for my health, for my mental health, my physical health. It was causing way too much trauma and just humiliation, and it was enough of their crap that they were really starting to do to me, and it was getting bad. And this happened to me because anytime you say something about somebody or somebody who's stalking you and you call these motherfuckers out for their shit, which I started to do because they were making it really obvious that they were targeting me. And so I said a couple things about it in one of my videos, or I maybe started ignoring these people, so they retaliate. They get offended, and they see what's going on, and they take it so personally that they were making it trying to make it very uncomfortable for me there, such that I would stop going. And you know what? I was gonna quit going there anyway. I didn't like that place. I had enough of their fucking shit, their gaslighting, their manipulations, and all the crap that some of these people are doing to me, and they know who they are. No need to say who, but they know who they are. And it was enough of that shit. And I know that for me, that when I go to the gym, it's my life. Like this is like it's a big part of who I am. Okay. It's an important aspect of my life. And this has been many years of my going consistently, and I say consistently by pretty much every day, unless it's closed or I'm sick or something or injured, then I'm at a gym. Okay, that's just what I do, what I've been doing for so long. And whenever people know that about you, they know what you like, they know what's important to you, they will try to sabotage that. I don't care if it's your family, there's always going to be somebody or people who want to see you destroyed. They want to see you distraught, destroyed, financially distraught, mentally, physically, psychologically. They want to see people ruined because whatever is going on in their life, whatever fucked up shit, pardon my language, but whatever happens to be going on in these people's lives, they can't handle seeing somebody else doing what they want to do, or at least trying and making effort and putting in the energy and all that to do what you want to do. And because it does take a lot of discipline and energy and dedication to do what I do. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but it does. It does. It's not easy to do that every day and to put that much energy and effort into what I do. I do take it seriously as if it were a job that I don't get paid for or recognized for by any means, but it is something that I enjoy, and I have been doing that for a long time. So I'm not going to let people sabotage that because they don't like something about me, or they don't like my taste in the way I dress, or maybe they don't like what I'm listening to on my music player or some shit like that. Whatever the reason is that they are going to find, which is usually quite mundane, petty, nonsensical bullshit that they'll find to mess with you. You just have to really grow some really thick skin and just ignore it. Okay, I used to be a lot more emotionally vulnerable to these people's abuses. I used to be very much, I would let it affect me too much. I would just let every little thing get to me, and I would react, and I would, say shit. And now it's like, no, that was a problem, because obviously the goal for these people who do this is to get you to react so that you look unstable and crazy, and that further gives them an excuse to target you. You see what I mean? It's a catch-22 any way you look at it, though. But that's how ridiculous and petty these people are, because it's all about reaction. You reacting to their abuse, and when you do react, that's called reactive abuse. If you react in a way of which you're defending yourself, for example, because you don't want to put up with that shit, and you're defending yourself and letting them know that's actually not a bad thing, but you can't. The problem is, because these people are gonna fucking call the police, they're gonna call somebody to get you in trouble, because this is what they want. They want to get the person, i.e. the targeted person, in trouble with the law, with the authorities, with whoever, with somebody in the community, with a prominent figure, so that you have a bad reputation, so that you're smeared, so that everybody knows and they can gossip and do whatever. And, because people love to talk. People like to gossip. They like to do this. That's what people like to do. And, me personally, if I hear that somebody may be going through some trauma, a death in the family, a legal matter, a divorce, for example, or something, or a medical problem, number one, it's none of my fucking business unless they ask me. It's not my fucking business to get involved with that, and I don't want to get involved with it, because it's not my business and it's not my job to do that. Okay? But for whatever reason, in the fucking gang stalking community, which these stupid fucking, and I cuss a lot, and I'm not going to apologize for that, really. Anyway, these people like to play God. They like to play authority figure. They like to play like they're important in the community, wherever you are, because they feel that it's their duty to keep tabs on everybody who's a little bit out of line. You're not marching in line with the others. You're straying on your own path, and they don't like that. Number one, I'm not in the fucking military. I know how to think for myself. I create my own fucking path, and I follow my own way, my own path, and that's what I do. I'm an individual. I'm not a collectivized, hive-minded person. It's just not possible for me. It's not going to happen. It never has. I'm too rebellious. By nature, I have that rebellious streak in me to not fucking go with the conformity shit. I know how to put on the fucking act, or so I can blend in for a couple hours every day, or however long I have to do that, so that I can get through that. But other than that, I'm free to be myself when I'm in my car, when I'm in my house, or whatever. But I understand that when you're in a public place, of which is a corporate place, or maybe it's a franchise or whatever, you have to apply, you have to conform to the regulations. It's common sense. You have to abide by their rules. Of course, I know this. I'm not stupid. I understand that, and it's common sense. And obviously people understand that, unless you're in a fucking mental hospital. Maybe you don't comprehend that. Maybe you're a child mentality, or arrested development, or mentally retarded, or something, that you can't cognitively think on a level of which you're able to function in society to an extent of a few hours a day. Okay? Some people cannot. Some people are so mentally gone that they can't. They literally cannot function in an environment where there's rules, where there's rules. They can't do it. They cannot do it. They can't. And so therefore, those kinds of people, usually you're not going to see them at a gym. If you do see them at the gym, they're usually, they kind of, you can tell that they look a little, there's something a little off about them. I've seen it before, and they just kind of, I used to see it a lot. I've seen it a lot. I used to see that a lot at Goliad Gym. Gold's Gym on Goliad. I've seen it all over at a lot of these gyms, where people are just so mentally out there, or whatever. Maybe they have a lot of depression, or something's going on, or something happened, It happens to everybody. Hey, nobody's immune to these things at all, so you never know who could be. It could be you one day, okay? So I try to not judge. I try to observe and then make my judgments after I've talked to the person, if I talk to the person, but I try really hard to not judge immediately, because when you do that, you could be completely wrong about somebody. You don't know if that person is autistic. You don't know if that person is deaf. Maybe they have some disability. You don't know. A lot of disabilities are completely invisible. But we have such a mean society who likes to stigmatize people and categorize people according to the way you look, according to the way you dress, according to whatever, that this is how people are. They're so quick to judge people before listening to them and really hearing them out. Maybe the person just wants to have somebody listen to them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you never know. You never know what is going on in anybody's life. You do not know, and it's not your business to interfere with these people unless they ask you, or unless they're, you know what I mean? And even then you have to be really careful, because with me, I've noticed that I get sought out by people. I get stalked in public a lot. I have strangers coming up to me all the time, asking me questions, asking me for help, asking me really random things that are very weird and personal. And this happens to me a lot. And it's been happening to me throughout my life, actually. And so I have to be extremely cautious and prudent so as to protect myself as well, because a lot of these people, they are they're energy vampires. That you feel that they drain your energy, or there's something about them after you've talked to them and had an encounter with them, or a brief interaction, conversation, that you feel, you can kind of feel like, well, there's something about that person, or there's something that just, the way they were looking at you, or the way, something about them, you can feel that there's just something that you pick up on that maybe someone else hasn't, or you know what I mean? And it's just weird, because I get people who, it's almost like some of these people are crying out for help to me, and they want my help, or they want my attention, but I ignore them, and that makes them mad, because I get this a lot. It's like they literally, it happens a lot. Like these people, like it happens to me all the time, and I'm not trying. It's not a good thing, because it's like these people, I can pick up on their emotions, their everything, and it can be so emotionally and physically demanding and draining, if that makes any sense, because they stalk me in parking lots, they stalk me in the stores, they stalk me at the park if I go to the park, whatever. And it's just like I feel like I'm never able to just have some time to myself, completely by myself, except in my home, where I feel that for whatever reason I have some kind of surveillance that's activated at all times. I feel as if I'm being watched, monitored. And so I never feel like I just have privacy. Okay, I feel that I have been invaded, that my privacy has been invaded 100%. And so therefore, yeah, I talk about this in videos. I'm putting myself out there. Okay, yeah, I get it. So people may know who I am, but I don't get a lot of views. I don't have any subscribers. Not like my last channel, I had a lot of videos and a lot more subscribers. This is not like that, and that's okay. I do this for therapy, for therapeutic reasons for myself, as well as to talk about this weird, hive-minded, gang stalking shit that goes on, that's all connected. It's all connected. It's all connected, okay? Everything is energy. Everything is atom. Everything's alive. Everything is just energy all around you. Nothing, Everything's alive, everything, okay? And that's why I'm one of these people who says, how can a person eat meat? Okay, for example, you eat a dead animal. You're eating the carcass of a dead animal, and think about, now I'm changing the subject here, but I don't really care, because I could go on and on about this topic as well, about how I can't stand the idea of eating the flesh of an animal. I don't care if the animal's been dead for a week. I don't care if the animal just got killed. Whatever. You don't eat something that you don't eat. It's not right. It's ethically, morally wrong to eat an animal. Okay, it's murder. It's murder. Okay, it's disgusting. I find it repulsive and utterly disgusting to eat that people, humans, could consume a dead animal, the flesh of an animal. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, I'm not trying to, I get, maybe I sound like a militant, crazy, lunatic, vegetarian, whatever. Pardon me, I guess I have allergies. But I personally don't understand how a person could eat an animal, a dead animal, and call that food or nutrition. I don't get it. I don't understand it. There's no nutritional value of eating dead flesh of a carcass. There's nothing. What in the world are you getting out of that? Except I don't understand it. Yeah, I've got plenty of people. I know plenty of people who eat meat. I don't hate these people, but I just don't understand it. I've never understood it since I was a child. I couldn't bring myself to eat that shit without getting physically sick and vomiting. That's how I am. I just find it disgusting, repulsive, everything about it. And I won't eat meat. I don't like blood. I don't like needles. I don't like anything that has to do with consuming the flesh of something. It's just disgusting to me. Gross. So, that makes me an outcast and a weirdo according to some people in society. Oh, you don't eat meat. What's wrong with how do you get your vitamin or your nutrition and iron and I've heard it all throughout my life. This bullshit about crap about people who don't eat meat. Come on now, use your common sense. How do you get your nutrition from a fucking dead animal? Tell me how the fuck you're getting anything out of that, except maybe sick, physically sick. And that's my opinion. You're gonna judge me. I'm gonna judge you for eating that stuff. But anyway, so back to I'll say something else about this gym. So I noticed in the parking lot for the past couple days in a row, except for today, there's a change. Free weed for 21 and up, free weed. Okay, well, yeah, it's in a parking lot or a little shopping strip center that happens to be near a, what's it called, a vape shop or a dispensary or a CBD store, cannabis store, or whatever. Okay, I'm like, okay, fucking A. Okay, number one, I thought I was of the mindset that marijuana was illegal still in Texas. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't keep up with that anymore. I don't really know. But I thought that smoking marijuana in Texas was illegal unless you have like one of these medical prescriptions or something, which I know people do. And so maybe but now I guess anybody and everybody can just go out and buy weed. Legal marijuana, because they're advertising it on in the parking lot over there by the gym, free weed for 21 and up. Well, do they mean weed as in what, like Delta 8 or what kind of weed? The real marijuana or what? I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just wondering, what is that about? Isn't that a little bit weird that all of a sudden we go from Texas being a completely anti, it's like, we live in a very a state which is extremely whatever. I mean, nonetheless, I thought it was against the law. So all of a sudden now it's being advertised and free weed. Okay, so that I saw that for 2 days in a row. This dude holding up a hippie kind of looking guy. He's probably some government agent anyway, an undercover fucking FBI or DEA or whatever. You know how that shit goes. Just waiting to bite somebody to bite the bait. You know, come on. So he's holding up a sign, free weed for 21 and up. I'm like, oh yeah, what the fuck? Okay, who's gonna go bite the bait? Who's gonna go bite the bait? Right? That's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to get people to go into there and say, well, where's the free weed? I see a sign out there. Just to set yourself up for trouble, to set yourself up to be a targeted individual and gang stalk. Oh look, there's a drug addict. We've got a druggie. We better keep an eye on this person because look, we already know that this person has a mentality that they want to do drugs. You see how they catch you? How they entrap people? To me, that seems like an entrapment. I steer clear of that shit. But I'm just saying it was kind of weird. And then today I saw the same man who was holding up the fucking signs for 2 days in a row. All of a sudden, he's just walking around the fucking parking lot or the street with no sign. Where's your weed sign, dude? What happened to the free weed sign? Now he doesn't have it, but he's walking around. I saw him walking around the parking lot all pissed off. Like, just, not pissed off, but kind of like more serious. Well, what happened? And then it's like, okay, so there's already a lot of weird shit going on in the parking lot here. I'm like, this is really fucking weird. Cool. It's just more entertainment, right? All this fucking crazy shit going on in the parking lot every fucking day when I go out to my car. People walking around my car, hovering around my car. You know, big group. The other day, there's this big group of teenagers just standing by my car, like in a bit, like a bunch of them. Like they looked like they were probably anywhere from age 12 to 20, 25, just standing in a big group right next to my car, just watching me. I'm like, okay, are you going to start taking pictures? What the fuck is this? But they're just watching me. And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I didn't even react, but I'm thinking, what's that about? Why are you so close to my car and what are you watching me for? It was weird because it's like, I mean, they were like surveilling me. A big group of people. And I just ignore it. I just ignore all this shit that's going on. Today, when I went out to the parking lot, some guy, this of course he was a black, an African American man, walking, trying to get my attention, walking really fast. As soon as he sees me, trying to like walking by my car, and I'm like, okay, you need something? What's up? And I just kind of ignore. I don't know what some of these people, you never know what their intentions are. I mean, maybe he just came from the gym or he was going to the gym, but he certainly was staring me down or looking at me in a way that kind of made me feel a tad bit uncomfortable. Okay. A little bit. I'm thinking, okay. So as a female and alone, which I like my independence, but it's like, I kind of have to be more prudent about what I do and where I go. And because there's people all over the place, everywhere you go now, especially in parking lots, in the stores, whatever, who are just trying to fucking get your money or ask you questions or interrogate you. And it's like, back off, don't fucking violate my boundaries, please. It's just very prevalent now, especially near the holidays. It's like, you know what I mean? I think you get the idea. It's like you have to be, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, people have to be careful now. There's a lot of fucking crazy shit out there, and the way people are fucking driving is even worse. Yeah, once again, yesterday somebody almost fucking ran a red light and almost fucking hit me. Came within a couple of feet of running right into my fucking car because I ran a red light at an intersection. Thank God I pay attention to this shit because it's all over. The way people drive, the way they behave, the way they invade your boundaries, and people are just rude, disrespectful, and it's all over, everywhere. And I guess I just had to rant and rave about that today because it's on my mind and I wanted to talk about it.